Hey guys, welcome back, and today I'm finally making an actual video. I know it's been a while since I made something. It's mostly just been filler. Well, I've just been busy lately, but finally I had the time to sit down and talk about the Ricta Clouds 78A 54mm wheels. Now, I've had these wheels for a while, and they were actually in my Zip Zinger video, which I'll link somewhere in this video. But ever since that video, I haven't really used the wheels. It's just kind of like here and there, but never really on a daily basis. But recently I did get a job, and it's allowed me to like skate back and forth to work, and the trail I take that to go to work is not really smooth. Half of that is just trail, very bumpy, and really not the best surface. So I decided to use the Ricta Clouds and just see how they hold up. And I'm gonna talk a bunch in this video, so let's watch some skating first. Yeah, so this is one of the parts that I have to come through pretty much every day when I want to go to work. And as you can see there, very, very rough. But I don't have any problems. Just as long as you have the confidence to go down something like this, you'll be fine. So as you can see, they're holding up very well. Now, why would I choose the Ricta Clouds over something like the OJ Super Juice wheels? Well, it's mainly due to the shape of the wheels. So I'll put it up on the screen now, but as you can see, the Ricta Clouds are the same shape as a normal skateboard wheel that's hard. So this means it's a similar weight and has a similar feel. So when you're going from a hard wheel to the Ricta Clouds, there's not so much adjustment that you have to do to get used to how the wheels feel. While with the wider wheel, like the OJ Super Juice that I have, they're wider, much heavier, and they do take some while to getting used to, especially if you're got a cruiser board and you're trying to do tricks and all that. That can be kind of a hindrance if you're not used to the weight. And some people don't like cruiser boards for that reason, because they believe you need those giant wide wheels to have a true cruiser board, and it's so hard to flick and do ollies and whatnot. Well, that's why wheels like the Ricta Clouds exist. It's so that transition phase isn't so difficult. Now, riding these wheels, they don't have a soft feeling. In fact, it feels pretty firm, not uncomfortably firm like a hard wheel or whatnot, but it doesn't sink into the ground as other soft wheels would. And that's something I really like, because it doesn't feel like I'm being slowed down, but I still have that grip that soft wheels are known for. And as you can see in the video, they slide surprisingly well, but it's really only on some rough surfaces that they would slide. On really rough surfaces like brick where there's a lot of cracks or whatnot, I found those really difficult to slide. but they are pretty easy to do those little speed checks by when you just scratch the back wheel. So that's another positive. But then again, I'm more experienced in these slides and whatnot. So if you're a new skater looking for these wheels, you might find sliding those pretty difficult. So I'm saying a lot of good stuff about this wheel, but what about the disadvantages? Well, to start off, when you're riding them, you can still feel a lot of vibrations since it is a smaller wheel. It's a 54mm wheel with a thinner riding surface than most soft wheels. So a lot of vibration is still getting through, but it doesn't slow me down. It's just something you have to get used to, and I handle it pretty well. Another thing is the stability. It's not very stable and on high speed, especially on the rougher ground. There's this hill near where I live, and then it's very rough. Tried hill bombing it, I succeeded, but it felt very, very sketchy. So if you live in an area like that, I would suggest to get something else that's a lot bigger and wider. And I want to do a little comparison between the Ricta Clouds and the OJ Super Juice, because these both have their advantages and disadvantages, and it's a whole physics thing actually. So when you get a smaller wheel, like the Ricta Clouds, they accelerate faster, which means it takes less time for them to spin up and get rolling, but they have less momentum, which means they don't grow as long as a bigger wheel. And then that's another thing to consider with the shape and all that, and I'll show it on the screen right now. So we both have the OJ Super Juice, which is a bigger and wider wheel, and the Ricta Clouds, which is much smaller. So I rolled the Super Juice first, and then the Ricta Clouds. Now usually it's going to be the Super Juice stops first, and then the Ricta Cloud stops second. But as you're going to see, the Ricta Clouds stop first because they have less momentum, while the OJ Juice just keeps on rolling because it's so heavy, and that weight really keeps the wheel moving, so it has more momentum. And the Mini Juice has I would say a lower quality bearing. They have mini logo bearings with no spacer, while the Ricta Clouds have Bronson G3s with spacers. So that's another thing you might want to think about when you're trying to pick out a cruiser wheel. What is your purpose? What are you trying to get out of it? Do you just want something to get around town, don't care about tricks or whatnot, and you just want to push through dirt, crust, and whatnot? I would go with something like a OJ Super Juice. But if you're not into that, you just need to get it point A, point E, point B, but also want to do tricks, you don't want a heavy setup, you don't want to go through that entire transition phase, then I would say something like the Ricta Clouds would work. I've enjoyed my time with them. I'm still going to use them. And, they're a pretty great wheel. Of course, it's not for everyone. I would say if you still have your doubts, you should ask your local shop and see what they think. Going through crust and all that, it does a very decent job, the Ricta Clouds. It just pushes through crust. As you can see in the video, I was going through leaves, sticks, and whatnot, and I didn't have any problems. But with areas that have wider gaps, train tracks, or just huge holes in the ground, the Ricta Clouds aren't going to stand up to that. Something bigger, like the OJ Super Juice, that does a lot better with stability, pushing through crust, and just getting over those larger imperfections in the road. Another thing to bring up is that on the outside of the wheel, where the graphic is, it's not actually a printed graphic. It's actually a part of the wheel, so it raises out, and the outside isn't really smooth because it's all textured and all bumpy, while the inside of the wheel is all smooth. And that's going to be weird because you pretty much have to run graphics out. And when you rotate your wheels, I don't know how this is going to affect grinds when it's touching the ledges or whatnot. I haven't had the need to try, but I would assume it would feel a little bit awkward and these chunks might come out. And speaking of that, the durability wise of these wheels, very, very good. The only damages I have right now is just some cuts where some type of debris just stabbed through the wheel, but nothing has chunked off. I also measured the wheels using my caliper, this thing, and I've shaved down about 0.5 millimeter on each wheel. And that's pretty good considering I had these for a while and I've been really going heavy on them for the past 2-3 weeks. I would say these wheels might, if I keep going at this pace, they'll probably last a couple months, 2 or 3, until I would need to replace them. But if you're, just going point A to point B, you're not really doing tricks or sliding, doing all the stuff I'm doing, they're gonna last you a pretty long time. Soft wheels are pretty durable. Lock-in's okay, I guess. There's nothing really special about it. Just be aware that since the wheel is soft, the side of the wheel is going to like dig deeper into the ledge and slow you down a lot more, just because it's a soft wheel. But if you're looking for to do tail slide, no slide, that's really not going to happen unless the curb or ledge or whatever is super, super waxed. If it's not, then the wheels are just going to catch onto the ledge and it's going to put you on a full stop. The wheel bite isn't forgiving at all. If you're doing like a rotational trick like a 180 or a pop shove, something like that, and you get that wheel bite, it's just going to throw you off the board. Usually you can get away with it if you have a hard wheel, so you just kind of like tic-tac or skirch it out, but with the Ricta Clouds, that's not happening. So overall, I think they're a pretty good wheel. They fit my purposes personally, where I just need to get a point A, point B, but I want to do tricks around the way, hit some curbs, do some board slides and whatnot, and they've been treating me well. If I was going to do something like a long distance, like maybe like 2 miles or so, and I just need to like get there, I don't care about tricks or whatnot, definitely go with a bigger wheel, like I said, the OJ Super Juice. So yeah, that's another video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or whatnot, please leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.